Hello students, this is Amardeep Singh, your computer teacher, and today we are going to continue with the chapter number 10, working with dictionaries and tuples in Python. And in this session we'll discuss about various functions and methods of tuples. In this session we'll discuss about tuple functions and methods available in Python. So first function that we'll discuss is length function. As we know that length function count and returns the number of elements in a tuple or in any sequence type available in Python. So length function always return an integer type, that is a number, and we have to specify the name of the tuple inside the length function. So let's demonstrate how we can make use of this function. So presently here we are having a tuple containing different type of elements. 4 elements are present, and I want to calculate the length. N is equal to length of TP. Then when you will print the value of n, it will print the number of elements available inside the tuple, that is the size of the tuple. So the result is 4. So that means a tuple contains 4 elements presently. So that is the use of length function. Next we will discuss about max function available inside Python. It returns elements with the largest value from tuple. As the name suggests, it will return the largest element from tuple, and the syntax of using this function is we have to specify the name of tuple inside the max function, and it will return the largest value. But the condition is that the elements must be of homogeneous type. So that means you have to specify all elements belongs to similar data type. You can't specify the heterogeneous elements. And after max function we are also having min function. Then it returns element with the smallest value, and the syntax is same. So let's syntax is same, and also the condition is same, that the elements must be of homogeneous data type. So let's demonstrate how we can do how we can use max and min function. So first I will use max function. M is equal to max, the name of tuple. So presently we are having the elements available inside these all integer type of elements available inside the tuple, and the maximum, the largest element is 60. So let's check the result. So presently here we are having the result, that is the 60. And in the same way, if you want to print the minimum value, minimum element, then you have to specify min instead of using max, and the syntax and the way of using is same, and the minimum value is, that is 10. So now it will return 10. So that is the use of max and min function available in Python. Next we have tuple function. It converts a string or a list into tuple. So if you want to convert a string or a list into tuple, then you can make use of this tuple function, and the syntax is it will return a tuple, that is the return type, and the name of function is tuple, and inside the brackets you have to specify the name of string or a list as a parameter. So in here we have specified a string, that is st is equal to hello, and when you will use this tuple function by specifying the name of that string, then it will convert that string to tuple. And in the same way, if you will make a list, then it will also convert that list into a tuple. So let's demonstrate. So presently I'll specify a string, that is hello, and I want to convert this string into a tuple. So I'll specify tp is equal to tuple. Then inside the brackets you have to specify the name of string as a parameter, and now print the value of that particular tuple. Then it will show you all the characters of that string in the form of a tuple. So presently here we are having a list that contains all the characters as element of a tuple. And next, if you want to convert a list into tuple. I'll comment this line. Now I want to convert a list. I'll create a list first. Li is equal to square bracket start, because with the help of square brackets you will be able to create a list. Specify hello 123 and by. So presently I am having three elements inside the list, that is hello 123 and by. Now I want to convert the elements of this list into tuple, so I'll specify tp equals to tuple, then the name of list as a parameter. Now after that you have to print the elements of tuple, so save it. Now you can see here we are having a tuple that contain all the elements of that particular list. So in this way you'll be able to convert a string or a list into a tuple. Next we'll discuss about count function. It counts the occurrence of a specific element in a tuple. So count function always count the number of occurrences of a particular specified element. So inside the count function you have to specify that particular value that you want to search from the tuple, and it will return 0 if that particular element is not available inside the tuple, and any uh, value, any numeric positive value if that particular element is available inside the tuple. So let's demonstrate how we can make use of this function. So presently I'm having a list of these numeric elements, but you can also make a heterogeneous list also. So I want to specify n is equal to tp dot count. Now I want to count the occurrence of this 10 value 10, how many times 10 occurs inside the list. So according to this list we are having three occurrences of 10. So let's check. So now system returns 3 because 10 occurs 3 times, but if you will search for 30, 30 occurs only one time, so system will return 1. And if you will specify any different value, then it will return 0. So now the result is 0. So in this way you will be able to use that count function for searching a particular element from the tuple. Next we have index function. It returns the index of first occurrence of a value from tuple. So that means you can also make use of this index function to search a particular element from a tuple. So you have to specify the name of tuple, then dot index, then we are having one required element and two optional element. One first element, that the value that you want to search from the tuple, and the start and end will decide from where the search will start and where the search will end. So by default, if you will not specify the start and end parameters, then system will check all the go through all the elements to search that particular value. So here we are having the list of values, and index function we want to search the for 20 value 20, then system will return the index of that particular element from the list. And one main point is that value error occurs if value not available. So that means it will generate an exception if that particular value is not available inside the list, inside the tuple. So let's demonstrate. So you can also make use of count or index function to search a particular element. Count function return number of occurrences, and index function returns the index of a particular element. So let's demonstrate. N is equal to tp dot index. I'll specify 30. So that means system will search for this particular value from the tuple, and this value presently available on 0, 1 and second index position. Then the system will return 2. So that means because that 2 is the index position of 30, so the result is 2. And if you are having, if you will specify 10, so we are having 10 occurs 3 times, but system will return the index of first position, so that means that is 0. So 10 occur first time on 0 index position, but if you will specify the starting position, so I'll specify starting position as 1. So first 10 occurs at 0 index position, but I'm going to start search from this position starting from 20 to end position. So if you will specify only 1, so that means it will return the next after 1 index position, the 10 occurs at 0, 1, 2 and third index position. So check this one, so the result is 3. But if you will specify 1 comma 3, so that means it will start searching from first index position till third index position. So that means in between 1 to third index position we are not having any occurrence of 10. So now the value error occurs. So value error always occur if that particular specified value is not available inside the list. So by using this way you will be able to search a particular element from the tuple. Next we are having sum function. It returns the sum of all elements of a tuple. So that means as the name suggests, sum function calculates the sum of the elements, but the condition is that tuple must contain all numeric elements. We can, because we can perform sum on the numeric elements only. So let's demonstrate how we can make use of this. So presently we are having these all numeric elements inside the tuple. So if you want to calculate sum, then I'll specify f is equal to sum, and inside this function you have to specify the name of the tuple and print s, save it, and presently the sum of all the elements is here, that is 100 according to these given elements. So this one is the use of that sum function. Next function that we are having is sorted function. It returns a list that contains elements of a tuple in sorted order, and the condition is that elements must be of homogeneous type. And just keep it one thing in your mind, that we can't sort the elements of a tuple. The system will sort because a tuple is a immutable sequence type. So that means we can't make any change in the position or in the value of the element of a tuple. So that's why system will sort the element and return all those elements, store all those sorted elements inside a list. So it will not make change in the elements of a tuple. It will receive the elements of a tuple, then sort them and store sorted elements inside a list. So let's demonstrate the concept. So here we are having a list, a tuple that contains these all homogeneous elements, all the numeric elements are here. And if you want to make use of sorted, then I'll use li equal to sorted, and inside the sorted function you have to specify the name of tuple and now print the elements of a list. So presently we are having these elements, and when you will print the sorted, then now you can see the elements have been uh, sorted by the system. But if you will print the elements of that tuple, then TP, because we are printing the elements of a list, not this tuple, then after that you will be able to see that the element system didn't sort the elements of that particular tuple, because tuples are immutable, and you can't make any change in the sequence or in the uh, value of any particular element. So system always return the list of sorted elements and store that those sorted elements inside a list. So it will make a new list of sorted elements. Next we'll discuss about reversed function. This method is used to reverse a tuple and return an iterator. So as we have already discussed that a tuple is an immutable sequence. So that means we can't make change in the position or the value of any element. So it will return an iterator after performing the reverse operation on the elements of a tuple. And what is iterator? Iterator is an object that can be traversed using for in iteration, or you can say for in loop. So this one is the syntax of using the reversed function. You have to specify the name of the tuple inside the reverse function, then it will return an object of iterator type, and iterator is an object that can be traversed using a for in loop. So let's demonstrate how we can make use of this reversed function. So you have to specify r equal to reversed the name of tuple, and R is an object of which type? It's an object of iterator type. So that means you can make use of this object with for in loop, for I in, and the name of that iterator, that is R. Then now just print the elements of that tuple. So now the system will print all the elements. I'm going to make change in the elements. So presently we are having three elements inside the tuple, that is 10, 20 and 30, and the reverse order will be 30, 20 and 10. So let's check. So here we are having a reverse list of the elements stored inside the tuple. So in this way you will be able to reverse the elements of a tuple. So it was all about the present session. If you people are having any kind of doubt related